The good thing is you're not doing this for the first time.
3 on the side are 7s. Front plastic undercover that's connected to the bumper. 7 bolts, 10 millimeter.
Oh, you're doing a video.
3 7 millimeter bolts on each side, connecting to inner fender. Plastic retaining clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side, connecting inner fender to bumper. Take this out. That pops off. 1, 2, 3,
All the pipes are coated.
5. And you may want to remove that nut to help pull away the inner fender. On the inside, after you take the plastic clips off, there's 2, one there, one right at the front that you can't see, 2 8 millimeter bolts that you have to take off. If you turn the tire outward, you can open it enough to get to the bottom, through the bottom. Or you could take the tire off, take the inner fender off, make it a lot easier. Just use multiple extensions. Get up right in there. Next, take the radiator cover off. Black clip there, black clip there, a few up here, clip over there, in the back. Next is bolts on top of the radiator, the front bumper. I take that one out. That one, that one, that one, and that one. Next, partially pull the bumper off so you can get down. And there's a wire harness plug. You have to unplug right there. Driver's side. And also on the driver's side, if you pull back the inner fender, there's a wire harness right next to the cooler that you have to unplug. Plastic under tray has 8 bolts and 3 smaller ones on each side. Should be able to just pull the bumper right off. You'll have to pull the sides out a little bit and down because they have these little alignment pins. Now you'll need to take the air ducting off. Bolt there, there. There, and you'll have to unplug your outside air temp sensor. On the bottom of the air ducting, you're gonna have to pull that out. There's a couple more down here. And one more on this side. 7 of those total you have to pull out. 7. Now on your intercooler, passenger side, you'll need to unplug that. Take that bolt out. On the driver's side, take that bolt out, and do those 2 couplers and the 1 coupler on the passenger side. Screw drive clamp should be 9/16. 9/32. Sorry. And the bolts are 8s. Note, before taking intercooler out, take pipes out. Take out 2 bolts. Probably have to take a sensor off. This one has an aftermarket airbox. Loosen screw drive clamps. Unclip all those guys. On the T, pull this lock out and push in to pull it off. Green one, pull out on the back side, pulls off. This side, if you can see it, push in, then it'll open it up. You can pull it off that side. This piece you can just move out of the way. This bottom one with the gray, it's just like this. You'll have to lift it up and then push it over and you can pull it off. The intake tubes have some mounts. This is the front one, you can see it, that little triangle. Right below the wire harness. That's the mount for the front one. Mount for the rear one's right there. Make sure you get the right bolt. That one, that one, that one. You want that one. Right there. And you get to it like that, underneath that pipe. It's on there. And that's a 10. That one is an 8 that I already took out. Next, loosen all the piping clamps. There's one there. One on each one of those on the driver's side intercooler. And there's 2 there, passenger side intercooler to throttle body. There's one that goes right there that I already took off. Just right there. And throttle body. Intake, there's one there. And down on the turbo. Some people will still have this tube where the blow-off valve recirculates. You'll need to take that off. That small little vacuum line, or you have to unclip your blow-off valve. The front turbo, a little tricky to get to. I'm not sure if this is stock placement, but it's right there. Undo that. You may have to undo those 2 to pull that hose out. Rear turbo. It'll focus. Right there, that's the intake. And see if I can get it. Right there, right above the wastegate. Once you've loosened those, then you can take the intercooler off. Intercooler has 3 bolts. 1, 2, driver's side, 3. Before you pull throttle body pipe out, you must take headlight off. Headlight, take that bolt out, screw, and that screw. Right there. On the headlight, you'll have to pop that out from that. Should be able to just pull it out, and the whole headlight will come off. Take the wire harness off. Throttle body charge pipe, after you take the headlight out, there's a bolt right there you have to take off. To be able to get the throttle body charge pipe off the intercooler, so you can take the intercooler out. Getting the throttle body charge pipe out is tricky. Take the coupler off bottom throttle body charge pipe to give you a little bit more room. To get throttle body charge pipe out, you'll need to go down, but you'll have to push it out past the subframe, and then it should drop out. A little more wiggling. From rear turbo, so you can get it out. Once you loosen the screw clamps on the rear intake, you should be able to swivel it around, pull it up and out.
And
rear
his
charge
assistant
pipe.
was just looking at me like, you're fucking nuts. And I'm like, I know you probably think I'm crazy, man, but I'm a very high-end. Just
Rear charge pipe. Once you undo the coupler, it'll drop out through the front of the car. Front charge pipe, once you undo, pull it out. Clamp is down through the top. You can see right down in there where that purple is. Rear charge pipe bracket right there. Screw clamp right there. Front intake, once you loosen it, pull it up. After you loosen the rear charge pipe, so it'll move out of the way. Then you can take rear charge pipe out. Might have to take blow off valve off, and then you can take that off the turbo. Remove that wire harness clip off of charge pipe, rear charge pipe. Motor I took stuff off. Fabric under tray, plastic under tray, inner fenders, fender to bumper inside wheel well, radiator cover, top of the bumper, pulled the bumper off, took the plastic front air shroud off, took the air box out, took the intake mounts off, took the headlight off, intercooler off, throttle body charge pipe. You gotta push over. That's in.
in she goes. Drop the.
Once you get throttle body charge pipe in, and on the coupler, bolt intercooler in, and put couplers on driver's side. T-bolt clamp has to be positioned just right. Bottom one needs to be pointing up, top one needs to be pointing out. Front turbo charge pipe, clamps facing front of the car, radiator clamps. Position front turbo intake tube. So you can get height adjustment before you put clamps on. Pull air box out carefully. Pull coupler off turbo. Now you can clamp that guy. Front intake, place clamp, passenger side facing forward. Rear turbo charge pipe. Put coupler on, tighten to turbo. Proceed. Put first pipe in. Once you have front intake where you want it, you're gonna need to tighten the clamp for the coupler to the turbo, and then you're gonna have to loosen that clamp to pull out the intake to put rear charge pipe in. Front intake to the turbo is tightened. Now you can take the intake tube out and air box to fit rear charge pipe. So remove this, and then you can run the rear charge pipe up through and under here. On the intake, remember to re-loosen that clamp to pull it out. Place front charge pipe in. I always attach the coupler on one side so you get it centered and clamped. And then we'll put in that last one. Get it all in, swivel it around before you tighten the last clamps. Bracket will line up. It's probably easiest to tighten these two clamps for the charge pipe on the rear from the bottom of the car. Do that by reaching in between there. You can pull this bracket out. That'll give you a little more room to get your arm through. For rear intake, place air box in. Get that pipe where it needs to go. Not hitting there, not hitting the other pipe. On the rear pipe, attach coupler so you can get angle desired. Once you get the rear intake where you want it, put that clamp on, tighten that clamp. Once you get the rear turbo intake where you want it, you can hook up lines, recirc or VTA, and then there's a bracket right here. Now we have to put the front intake back on. To tighten the front intake clamp, you can either reach down there or you can wait to put the charge pipe on to last. Might be easier to do the charge pipe to last because then you can reach up through there from underneath. Then install the bottom charge pipe. Once you have all pipes installed, go ahead and install airbox back in. And we'll attach these lines. And then I'll tighten these clamps down. On this hose right here, if you attach it, you can rotate it like so. So then it'll line up. Once you have all your pipes installed, all your clamps tightened down, time for reassembly. Make sure you put that wire harness back on. Do the headlight, 4 bolts. And then these little things you press in. This side has 1. And the ones underneath. Outside air intake. Sorry, outside air temp. That up. Attach bumper. Hand tighten these guys. Not tighten, just loosely thread them in. Then you can come around and put the bolts from in there and connect the fender to the bumper on each side. And come back and tighten these guys. Let's put radiator cover on with the little black clips. Next, attach your inner fender back to your bumper. And if you took that nut off from in there, do that. Next, attach bolts that hold the plastic under tray. And those little ones over here. And last, fabric under tray. You will end up with a couple extra bolts from the in-tank mounts that we don't use.